how's it going? Happy Wednesday to y'all. Good to see all your faces. As you're hopping on, type where you're from in the chat. Tell me what you've had so far as ketones go. What's up, Tammy from Wisconsin? Gummy Bear. There you go. That gummy bear is in the iFast. I don't know if you guys have all got the brand new iFast and opened up each packet, but it's like Christmas morning. I've had a lot of iFasts from the past, so I've been using those, and I have a couple of the new ones. And yesterday, I opened one up, and I'm like, "Holy smokes! There's cookie butter in here. Holy smokes! There's caramel cold brew in here. Holy smokes!" Like all of the kind of long lost flavors of Keto OS Pro are in the stinking iFast, which is really cool. There's gummy bear, there's watermelon sweets. And then there's a bunch of the ampule flavors as well. So I thought that was really cool just from a variety standpoint and kind of like just a box of chocolates excitement standpoint. It was really, really fun. So if you haven't checked those out, make sure to get one on order and be sure to do the iFast yourself. Real quick, shoot a message out to any friends that you have that you do not see on here. We've got a very quick yet incredibly important and powerful call today that I'm going to be talking you guys through, because the stuff I'm about to cover isn't something, it's everything. It's a lot of times the missing ingredient. A lot of times we think this business is all about the how, like, what do I do? What specifically do I say? And this Zoom Wednesdays is specifically like supposed to be nuts and bolts. But it dawned on me this week as I've been talking to different promoters that it's more the energy that you bring, it's more your mindset, it's more your belief than it is the actual what are you doing. And I want to reinforce that today and really talk through it, because if we are in our head questioning, doubting, wondering, stressing, guess what type of things start to show up in your life? And guess what multiplies in your life? Problems, more things to create that stress, more avenues to feel those feelings and to experience that. So today we're going to get back to the basics when it comes to the inner game conversation. If you've been to what's up, Patty from Issaquah, how are you? If you've been to a Prove It event where you've seen Joseph McClendon speak and you've heard him, or maybe you saw him virtually, type a 1 in the chat. If you've not been to one of those events yet, type a 2. Just curious kind of who we have here. We got lots of 1s. So type a 1 if you've been to one, type a 2 if you're new and you haven't yet. I see a bunch of 2s. Oh, this is good. All right. All right, so for those of you that typed a 1, do I have your permission to do a little review? Give me a nod or type yes in the chat. For those of you that are a 2, I'm going to go through something that Joseph McClendon, who's, if you haven't met him yet, he'll rock your world, knock your socks off. He's one of our kind of consistent personal development speakers that comes and trains in the Prove It community. He's absolutely incredible, and he teaches us stuff that is way more valuable than me telling you what to post on Facebook, because the things that he teaches you, the things that he unlocks, is kind of like ketones in the body. When you drink ketones, it unlocks your body's ability to burn fat, to utilize the foods that you're eating, to have energy to your brain. Why? Because it works differently. People don't understand it. They don't know it. They're used to thinking you need to eat all the time. They're used to thinking you need to eat low fat and eat low calorie, right? Old conversation stuff. Well, in the world of success or performance or just overall well-being, the world of life, we've been taught from a young age, study hard, work hard, get good grades, get a good job, have a successful life, right? But we're not taught how our life actually comes together and how we can change our results simply by changing a few things, instead of maybe working harder or working more, instead of figuring it all out, learning all the things when it comes to Prove It. You'll find that your success in what we're doing here is much more integrated with who you're becoming and the process of you becoming a more vibrant, a more confident, a more inspired version of yourself, than the actual knowledge that you have. All right, I'm going to say that again. The success in your business, however you want to define that, is going to be more directly correlated to the person that you're becoming, the confidence that you're creating, the energy that you're exuding, than it will the skill set that you have. Right? On if you were on Monday's Huddle, or if you watched the replay, type a 1. If you've missed it, type a 2. This is a judgment-free zone. Be honest with yourself. Type a 1 if you were on it. Type a 2 if you've missed it. See a lot of 1s. That's good. Okay, some 2s. So if you missed it, my challenge to you is get the replay. It's recorded. Did you know that we have a legendary YouTube channel? And Christina, maybe you can drop a link to that in the chat somehow, where you can go watch all of the recordings to every single huddle that we've done for the last, I don't know, 6 months. It's insane, right? I think the last 3 months are on there. So if you miss one, it's okay. Just go watch it, right? This is like, we don't do these to waste people's time. We do these to inspire, to create vision, to create community, to show you what's possible, to give you a roadmap there. Right? There's a ton of outcomes from these Zooms. And I want you to go back and watch Mondays specifically, because I'm not going to repeat it all today, but it was super valuable. It was valuable in showing that there isn't secret to building this business. There isn't rocket science. A lot of times we get caught up in, how do I make a reel? Or how do I do this little doodad on my story? Or it must be because I don't post enough on my story. Whereas if you go watch that huddle, you realize you can create speed in your business just by getting ketones into people's hands. And all you got to do is get creative on a daily basis of doing that. Okay. Legendary Prove It community. So you go to YouTube, just type in Legendary Prove It community, and you will see it. There's a link. Copy that link, save it in your notes. You don't have to wait to see the pulse, like the recording post or sent in a chat or something. Just go there. They're there every single time we have a Zoom like this. We share the recording. So let's get started. I want to talk a little bit about how the mind and body works and how results work in your life. And then we're going to talk about how that actually applies to Prove It and what you're doing. And I'm going to ask you, if you give me permission, I'm going to ask you to kind of evaluate yourself and evaluate where you're at. So here's a saying that I'm going to teach you. Some of you already have this memorized. For those of you that typed a 2 earlier about Joseph McClendon, this might be new. And I'm just going to start with it, and then we're going to kind of talk through it a little bit. So as I think, so I feel. As I feel, so I do. As I do, so I have. Somebody can type that in the chat if they want. As I think, so I feel. As I feel, so I do. As I do, so I have. So think, feel, do, have. It goes in that order. And this is really where it comes to where the inner game comes into play. This is where the inner game meets the outer game. I'm just going to give you a scenario. If I'm thinking good thoughts, I'm thinking, man, this business is simple. It's so much fun. It's really like people out there in the world, they all want ketones. It's amazing. And then I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, all of these people, like I feel, it feels incredible. It feels abundant. I feel grateful for all the lives that I'm impacting. I feel joy in what I'm getting to do. I love it. I feel all these things, right? And then as a result, guess what? The actions that I'm taking show up differently. The energy in my voice, the color that people experience me, and the ideas that pop into my head influence this action, right? And next thing you know, as a result of that, there's new customers joining. There's new promoters joining. And this isn't just about the business, right? This is about your life. You woke up and you're feeling crummy today, or you woke up, quote unquote, on the wrong side of the bed. You're thinking thoughts that are making you feel a certain way. You're thinking, stress, money, whatever, fears, doubt. Then guess what? You're feeling those things. And if you're feeling those things, it's going to influence how you act throughout the day, the decisions that you make, which then guess what? Shows up as your life. Shows up as your life. What we normally do in society is we disconnect the action and the results from the thinking and the feeling. I want to say that again. in society, we've disconnected because of the job world that we live in, right? We've disconnected those two, which is interesting because it's like it can work to a status quo situation. And here's what I mean by that. You go to your job, you feel like crap, you're thinking that like challenging thoughts, you're feeling like crap, but you go to your job, you do your tasks, you get paid. So you do your due, you get your half, right? But nothing's changing in your life. It's circular. It's actually the same path. It's the predictable pattern that you're living in, right? Because if you just keep doing that, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And if you're getting what you want and you're in this amazing environment, then that's fantastic. Good for you. You're probably actually thinking great and feeling great if that's the case. But I'm guessing it's not, right? I'm guessing you might be in this bit of a hitch where your thinking and feeling is not matching what you're wanting, the results that you're looking for. So how does this apply to prove it? How does it apply to anything? Well, a lot of times, another way to describe this for you is, what do you spend most of your time focusing on? Are you focusing on what you don't want in your life? Or are you focusing on what you want in your life? Because when you focus on what you don't want, you end up feeling the feeling of whatever that is, right? If it's, I don't want the stress of this relationship, or I don't want the current values that are in my bank account, or I don't want maybe the lack of success in this business, or I don't want whatever that is, that causes a feeling, does it not? Yeah, I see some of you nodding, right? So if we focus on what we do want, that causes the opposite feeling, right? If we're talking about, if we're always excited about, if we're looking at what we're creating, then guess what? We start to feel in that way. And then guess what happens? We start to take actions that create the results in that. Now, it's not just the actions, right? The action, you might do the exact same thing today as you do tomorrow, but today you might be focused on what you don't want and feeling in line with that, and you take actions. And guess what kind of results you're going to get from your actions? But guess what? Tomorrow, if you're focused on thinking about what you want to create, thinking about the life that you're designing, and then you're taking you're feeling what that feels like, you're experiencing that, now you take the exact same action. Guess what kind of results will start to show up if you do this consistently? Completely different results. You might think I'm crazy, but I'm not. This is actually like true science. We could spend the rest of the day going through all of the science, the quantum physics, all of the, you would maybe call it woo-woo stuff, but it's really insane. Like it's pretty cool stuff. When you start to understand that the way that you think starts to program your brain, which starts to program your body, which starts to program your life. Okay, I want you to, you can write this down. This is a powerful understanding. Thoughts are the language of the brain. Feelings are the language of the body. Thoughts are the language of the brain. Feelings are the language of the body. Your body actually has its own mind. Like it's in control as well. All the cells that make up your heart, make up your different organs, they're just as powerful as this thing up here. And sometimes they become so accustomed to the hormone of stress, the hormone or the feeling of guilt, the feeling of fear, the feeling of uncertainty, that what they do, just like an addict, they tell your brain, we need that chemical cocktail. We need that feeling. Get it for us. Get it for us. So what does your brain then do? Your brain has to think those thoughts in order to create that feeling. If you're tracking, type tracking. Because this, like, if you understand this, you can actually understand how your body works and how to change everything. It's insane. It's incredible. So because of our bodies because we've lived a life in a stressful world, in an environment that doesn't always serve us, around people that may not, understand any of this, most of us, including myself, have been conditioned to be used to those hormonal signatures, those chemical cocktails, i.e., stress, lack, fear, worry. What is your quote unquote addiction feeling? Like what's the feeling that you're always caught on, that you're always stuck in, that like becomes a loop? Type it in the chat. I'm curious. This is where you just get to be honest with yourself. Inadequate, worrying, worry, even though, you know, you can worry 10,000 days to be right on one. I heard that once. Frustration, stress, worry. I see a lot of worry that I'm bothering others. Skittish, busyness. Busyness is like a form of stress for sure. Oh, I'm so busy. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. Guess what? You're thinking I don't have time, and then you create it. I'll tell you a story about like stress. I didn't realize I had this addiction, but I was addicted to like cortisol of just, I'm going to be late. What's going on? I don't have enough time. Right. So back in my pilot days, I used to have to show up to like the gate 30 minutes before. Technically, I was supposed to be like at the airport in the crew room checking in 45 minutes before, but I found out that I could check in from my phone once we got smartphones, and I could just go straight to the gate. Well, I had a time where I could leave my house at a certain time, and I knew that I'd be able to get on the employee shuttle at a certain time to be able to go through security as long as there was no line, and then just walk pretty casually to the gate. But I knew if I was a little bit late, I could speed up my walk just a little bit and I would be okay. Well, I knew that like this was a pretty tight thing. I didn't want to be late for my job. That'd be bad, but I had to be there exactly 30 minutes before, and maybe 32. I didn't want to be too early. But guess what? I got it so down that I knew to the minute when I needed to leave. Well, every time I did this, there would always be a hiccup because it's never a straight line. There's always traffic. There's always the bus is late. There's always a line in security. Like you just name it. But I didn't allow myself any extra time. But I would start in my mind. I'm like, I need to allow myself 5 more minutes. It's 5 more minutes. I've got that. But somehow something would come up every single time. Something would come up. And it wasn't that I didn't want to leave the house earlier. I realized I need to stop this pattern. I need to leave earlier. But my body was so addicted to that stress chemical, it knew how to delay me subconsciously. So I didn't even know why it was happening or how. Right? Do you guys understand that? My body's like, I need that hit of cortisol. I need the stress. So what would it do? It would create an environment for me to be a little bit late so that I had to huff and puff and maybe run a little bit to get to the gate on time, just so that I could feel that feeling of, oh gosh, I'm going to be late. This isn't good. This isn't good. The stress, right? I finally realized the only way to break that pattern was to give myself 30 minutes and just be earlier. And it was almost a visceral reaction. My body's like, no, you can't do this. And I had these feelings of like, this is such a waste. I can't believe I'm getting here so early. This is awful. I had to do that for a bit in order to actually break that pattern, because that was my addiction. Okay. So I'm sharing all of this because a lot of you have written down a lot of your husband's addicted to almost running out of gas. Amber, I've been there. Talk to Chrissy. She used to, that is a very true thing. It's like, you're like, oh gosh, I can do it. I got 5 more miles. And usually there's like an extra 20 in the tank. So it's okay. I've gone 5. I used to do that with the Tesla too, between charging stations, and that is really stressful. All right, now that we've talked about stress and had a little bit of fun, hopefully you've figured out something that you're constantly focused on and constantly running the story in your head to create that feeling. So I want you to identify that. Like, what is that for you? And you might take some time after the Zoom, but you're going to realize throughout the day, you're thinking thoughts to reinforce those feelings. And all that is doing is reinforcing who you are in the past and the life that you are currently living. And if that's the life that you want to keep living, awesome. Keep doing that, right? If that's not the life that you want to keep doing, then I'm going to talk about some things that you can do to change it, right? So here's the part where this isn't a overnight change. This isn't an overnight thing that we're like, oh, I was on this Zoom, Nick told me these things and life is beautiful. No, this is something that you're going to have to hear today and hear again and apply and apply and apply and apply and apply. And then maybe if you do it long enough, consistently enough, you're going to start to see a shift, because guess what? I don't know how old you are. I see a lot of faces on here. I see Dee Dee. I see Carol. I see Mitzi. What's up, Mitzi? I see Tiffany. I see so many of you. Like, we're all at different stages in our life. I see Mr. James Rice. We're all at different stages in our life that we've spent years programming ourselves to the spot that we are currently. So let me ask you this. If you're, let's say you're 45, I'm 40 years old. Let's say 40. If you're 40 years old and you've spent 40 years basically wiring this thing and then wiring how your body works, is it going to just unwire or reprogram in 2 days or in 2 weeks? Probably not. Probably not. However, can you start? And if you start and you start being consistent at this and continue to do it every single day, knowing that it's not going to be a perfect straight line, you're not going to be perfect. However, progress is better than perfection. Progress is better than perfection. So I'm going to share some stuff with you that you just have to trust, believe, and do, and know that if you do consistently over a period of time, like, it's just going to work. So the first thing, step number one, your innate statement. If you have an innate statement, type a 1 in the chat. If you don't know what that is, or you do not have one yet, type a 2. And maybe, Christina, you can drop a link to one of the calls that we have around innate statements. I don't know if the last one didn't get recorded or if it did, but I know we have someone somewhere. For those of you that typed the 2, I encourage you to go watch this training and create a statement. This innate statement is a statement of who you are that helps you to wire who you really are and remember who you really are. So mine, the reason I'm doing this Zoom today is actually because of my statement. And I realized I need to start doing more of this. And I'll share it with you here. So my statement is, I, Nick Martinez, am a magnetic, passionate, inspiring, fun, and confident father, spouse, trainer, entrepreneur, visionary, speaker, and world traveler. And I think all of those things, I'm like, yeah, I'm all those things. This is cool. I'll say it again. Nick Martinez, I'm a magnetic, passionate, inspiring, fun, and confident father, spouse, trainer, entrepreneur, visionary, speaker, world traveler. Here's the part that I realized I wasn't fulfilling. Who makes a difference? I do that. Empowers others. I'm doing that. Leads people to better, creates memories, and designs life for myself and others. And this last part, designs life. Now, the myself and others, I think Joseph was at an event when I wrote this, and he's like, you need to write myself and others on that. I wrote it down. I'm like, I'm not helping anybody else design their lives. And I've been doing this. I've designed my life for the last 6 years, really, maybe 5 years, when I started to learn all this stuff. Right. And I've been like literally just writing down, what do I want to create? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to become? What do I want to do? Who do I want to do it with? And it's been amazing to literally write it down and then watch it come to fruition. Right. One of the things that I didn't realize that I had this myself and others on there is, shoot, I have to teach this. Right. It can't just be me doing it. I need to share it with others. And there's people on here who've been doing this, taking some of this action, and I've watched it transform them. I'm watching it transform their lives, which is super, super cool. So number 1 is your innate statement. So if you have an innate statement, like I mentioned, are you saying it? On a scale of 1 to 5, for those of you that typed a 1 earlier, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 meaning you're absolutely smashing it, you're doing it every day. 1 meaning you're like, oh, statement, I wrote that once, I haven't looked at it since. 2, 3, 4, somewhere in between. Where are you at? Oh, I see some 5s. That's good. Some 2s, some 3s, some 3s. Okay, keep sharing. 2. All right, if you're a 5, keep it up. If you're a 2 or a 3, it's time to dust that thing off and start saying it. That was the first and foremost of who I have become. When I wrote that statement, I could not stand there and say to you with confidence that, oh yeah, you're going to talk to Nick Martinez, you're going to experience me, and you're going to know I'm all these things. Right now, I can pretty much tell you I am all of those things, and that is who I am. But was it because it was when I started? Was it that comfortable, natural? Was I like, I don't know if this is true. Can I really be magnetic, passionate, inspiring, fun, and confident? Traveler? Can I really be a world traveler that's all those things? Can I really be a trainer that's all those things? Can I really be like a visionary? I didn't have those skills or that gift, but the more that I realized that I programmed my brain and my feelings to be those things, I stepped into it. My experiences started to catch up to who I was becoming. Okay, so that's the first thing. It almost can become a subconscious program that you program yourself. You wake up in the morning. I'm Nick Martinez. I'm a magnetic, passionate, inspiring, fun, and confident father, spouse, trainer. You're in the car at a stoplight, and you're like, I'm late. You're like, oh shoot, I'm doing it again. That's that stress kicking in. You say your stinking statement until you're blue in the face, and tell people around you, and your kids are like, what is wrong with you, mom? That's okay. That's how you do this. This is about reprogramming yourself. Okay. Second thing that you can start doing, if you choose to, is I like to call it writing to invite. And this is just taking a minute. You might do this once a week. You might do this each morning. You might do it at night about the next day. But I just want you to write about your future and how amazing it is. Write about what you want. Every time I get stuck, every time I feel like, I don't know if this is going to work, I get out my trusty little notepad and I start creating a vision for my future. And then guess where I live? When I start to think, well, I'm not sure. Oh, it seems like this promoter signed up and they didn't do anything. Oh my gosh, I haven't enrolled any promoters for a while. Maybe nobody wants ketones anymore. When I start running those thoughts, I have to become aware of it. That's step number one, is becoming aware of it. And then what I have to do is either start writing or go back and read one of those things that I wrote. And then here's the trick. When you're reading that, you gotta experience it. You gotta feel it, right? Remember, thoughts are the language of the brain. Feelings are the language of the body. Thoughts are the language of the brain. Feelings are the language of the body. What we have to do is get our body so used to and so excited for the chemicals of awesomeness that it realizes it wants those more than the other chemicals we're giving it. I'll repeat that again. You will see a change in your life when your body becomes addicted to feeling amazing versus addicted to feeling suck. Whatever feeling of suck is for you. It's one of those feelings that you typed earlier. So we just have to spend more time in that feeling than we do in the other. And then we have to become aware of when we start to think the thoughts and feel the feelings that are what we don't want to create in our life. Okay. So I'm going to give you, these are more Joseph McClendon hacks or tools, right? These are things that you can do. I want you to write down each of them, and I want you to pick like 2 or 3 that you're just going to utilize on a daily basis. Number 1 is smiling in the mirror, going like this. Everybody do it. If you're on camera and I can see your face, if you're at work, just smile and you have an earbud in, look at the coworker or something, make them think you're crazy. If you're at home, just smile at your dog or smile at your kids or whoever you're with. Do it. Like, this is a way to change your state. Now, shimmy your shoulders. You're probably sitting, so it's hard to shake your butt, but you can roll around. If you're on a yoga ball, bounce up and down. I mean, there you go. That is one way, right? Smile, change your state. If you stand up and you shake your butt a little bit and you smile, guess what? You're going to feel differently. If you need to do that 5 times an hour, do it. If you're into that stress, if you're into that, oh, I can't do this, oh, I don't know if it's going to work, it's up to you to reprogram yourself. You are programmed to feel that way. People might say, Nick, those feelings are normal, they're natural. And I would agree with you. They are normal and they are natural. However, you do have a choice how long you stay in them, right? You can have something happen to you, and then you can experience that happening. And then you have a choice. Do you stay there and wallow in it, or do you move past it? That's a choice. So I'm not saying that if some stressor or some challenging circumstance or situation, it's normal and you should experience feelings around that. But if you want to live in those chemicals, that's a choice. If you don't want to live in those chemicals, that's a choice. So one thing that you can do to change that environment is smile and shake your butt. Okay. The other thing, that's one option. The other option is sitting in my living room right over here. If you don't have one of these little things right there, it's a trampoline. We call it the smile machine at our house. We have, whenever our girls have friends over, we always joke like, hey, we challenge you to get on this trampoline and jump for a minute without laughing or smiling. If you're on this thing and you're just moving your body, it is impossible to not smile, to not change your state. I have one here. I have one in my office. They're all over the place. Why? Because I know that if I'm going through my day, there's going to be lulls. There's going to be times where I notice my energy is not where I want it to be. I'm feeling certain ways, and then that's causing me to think the thoughts that I don't want to create in my life. So I have to go reprogram myself. So easy hack with that, Joseph McClendon teaches, just get on the rebounder, play 2 good songs. You want to amplify what you're trying to create in your life. Read what you just wrote about what you're creating. See it in your mind. Go on that trampoline and experience it and feel what it feels like to have it. So remember, thoughts are the language of the brain. Feelings are the language of the body. Thoughts send a signal out into the world. Feelings actually draw your experiences to you. So if you want to create something amazing, you have to think about what you want, and then you have to feel what it's like to have it, right? That right there is programming so that your action and your activity around this business starts to yield the results that you're looking for. So the way that this works is not, I'm just going to sit here and go like this. I'm recruiting promoters. It's amazing. Oh, they're coming into my life. Wow. And then I'm just going to wait, and they're going to walk through my door. I mean, that may happen if you sat here long enough and really were in tune and like just left your body. However, let's face it, it's probably not going to happen like that. But if you start to visualize hitting recruiting roundtable, enrolling 5 promoters this month, and you feel what that's like, and then next thing you know, you create an action plan of what you're going to do in order to do that. And it may just be you messaging 5 friends and saying, hey, have you ever tried ketones? I've got a pack with your name on it. Can I drop one by your house? If you did that right now to 5 friends, you think you could find a few people to try ketones? And then when you drop them off, would you say to them, hey, this stuff's pretty amazing. We have an incredible group. We're actually changing our lives and creating waves in the world. Do you want to learn about it and join me? With your energy and your thought process, do you think that they're going to maybe be interested? Probably. However, here's the rub. Here's the choice that you have to make. When you do that 5 times and you have 4 of them that say no and aren't interested, you have a choice there. You either get to go back to stinking thinking this isn't going to work, or you get to say, this is going to be really cool. Those 4 weren't interested, but the other 4 out there that I need for recruiting roundtable, like they're out there. I just got to go find them. Where are they? Where are they? They're coming. They're coming. I know they're here. I've experienced before. I know how amazing it's going to feel when they join my business. If you haven't heard my story regarding the Keto Dad page, I went live every day for 18 months. 18 months. I don't know what about. I can't remember. I got to go check. Maybe I made some food, or maybe I talked about macros or something. But no one had joined my business as a result of that. No one joined as a customer as a result of that for 18 months. I had to figure it out. I had to become more of who I was. I had to do the work on me, continuing to take the action. I learned probably shortly after I got like a couple customers, I learned all these things about visualization, about what I'm going to create, about the energy around that. And I brought that energy like crazy to Facebook, to social media. One of the biggest things that I hear, the feedback I receive on our Facebook page is, Nick, your energy is just infectious. I just want to be part of this. Guess what? That was by design, not by default. Let me say that again. My energy is by design, not by default. All right. 3rd thing. So first was smile. Second was smile and shake your booty. Second was jump on the trampoline to some music. 3rd, I'm just going to say is Oh, there's a lot of them. For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to say, take a moment to just program how you're feeling, right? Whether it's meditation, whether it's taking a few minutes to spend in gratitude. Every morning I write down 10 things I'm grateful for and why. Whether it's if you take time to just visualize, like to just get centered and be quiet, maybe play some quiet music and breathe in and just see what you're creating and feel it. And feel it. The more that you can feel it here in your heart, that shifts how you're feeling. And the more that you're like, oh, I see this, and these are the emotions that I'm experiencing. And you breathe in and you just feel that, and you breathe out, and you just do that for a couple minutes each day. Maybe it's 2 minutes, maybe it's 5 minutes, right? If you do that for some period of time, you're throwing all of these amazing hormones into your body. You're elevating your energy, and your body is now like becoming accustomed to that, where you start to think that more. So you have to set aside some moments. You might set an alarm on your phone twice a day, 3 times a day, where you just get centered. You can start with some gratitude to get out of whatever junk you're in your life, and then focus on whatever you've written about or the vision that you're going for, creating, and then get really intentional with it. Get really intentional with it. So all of this is to create awareness for where you're at, right? Where you're currently at in your life. And this is something you have to just release judgment from and realize it's a process, right? If you're somebody that's used to just running the program of, these are all the thoughts that I have, this is all the things that are going on, this is why it's not working, become aware. Hopefully this Zoom is helping you become aware of when you're thinking those thoughts. Instead, we have to start just writing the program and becoming the person that we know that we are, or we strive to become, and knowing that when we are that person, all of the things that we want will start to follow up. So, as I think, so I feel, as I feel, so I do, as I do, so I have. What I want you guys to do, and as a result of this Zoom, what I'm hoping that you'll do is double down on your action, right? The action that we've talked about, the action that you're aware of, double down on who can you get ketones into the hands of today. But I want you to lead that action with what's going on up here. Meaning you're going to start your action with, oh my gosh, I love sharing ketones. This is amazing. There's so many people out there that need them. And there are people right now that are seeking me to do this business with me. Oh, it's incredible. I feel how that feels. Oh, it's incredible. Like, I love the abundance that is happening in my life. I love this is such a joy to bring this to people. I'm in love with life, right? And then action, 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 action. Do the thing, create the urgency, invite, right? Here's a couple sayings that I share a lot, and I'm going to share them here again in case you don't know them yet. Wait for nothing. Let everything happen on the way to something else. Urgency and speed is the name of this business. Urgency and speed. I was just texting with Brian. We're like, they don't feel the urgency this month. I'm like, yeah, we need to get just some fire out there. And urgency and speed. So how do we create urgency and speed? We don't wait for people to get started. We go to the next person, We share more. We do the next thing, right? We wait for nothing, let everything to happen on the way to something else. And then I always see no's aren't or yeses are the goal, but no is how you get there, right? Yes may be the destination, but no is how you get there. And if you don't have people that are telling you no, you're not asking them enough, right? You're probably somebody that was asked multiple times before you said yes. I was asked, I was specifically told, you need to do this with us, Nick. We're going to do it with or without you. And I said yes, right? But I have many people that I'm working with today who I had to ask 15 times before they said, okay, I'm in. Because it was about them, not about me. It was about their timing, not about my timing. So it's persistence with the smile, say less to more people, and let everything happen on the way to something else. Yes is the destination, but if you don't have a laundry list of no's, then you're not doing the business. And the sooner that we realize it's not about everybody saying yes, it's about finding the few that are like you. We just got to find the few that are like you and a bit like them and help them step into their light. And next thing you know, it all takes off. So we talked about very little specifics around how to do this business today by design, because I do believe this business is simple and you already have every bit of knowledge and things inside of you to do this. You just have to get intentional about the conversations that you're having. And if you need to have more conversations, then create a plan for that. Reach out to your sponsor. Say, what do I got to do to have more conversations? How does this work? Right? If you're stuck on that, I'm guessing you probably know more than you think, whether it's social media, post, grow, and engage, whether it's go out and meet people, go to an event, you fill in the blank. But we need to do all of that, but starting first with how we're thinking and how we're feeling. So thanks for being on, everybody, today. I hope you have an amazing day. Hopefully you took some notes. And the big thing here is applying. The more that we apply this, the more that we change our state of being. We change who we are. We change how life is showing up for us. So appreciate you all. Thanks for being on. Have a great day. Bye-bye.